fucking amazing, mate.
The new Mortal Kombat movie had a lot of people talking for various reasons. A lot of people thought it was a good popcorn film, while others were quick to point out just how lax some of the plot was in terms of character building and trying to establish the universe in a meaningful way. But even with its drawbacks, the Mortal Kombat movie did provide some great moments for fans to enjoy in one form or another. Not the least of which were the scenes that made fans' jaws drop or leave them roaring in laughter. Allow us to show you the top 9 Mortal Kombat scenes. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 9. Jax vs. Sub-Zero. A very key element of the 2020 Mortal Kombat movie was that they had to establish very early that this was going to be a true showcase of the combatants' powers. By that we mean that in the 1995 film it was a bit more restricted, or weird in the case of Scorpion's hand. However, a perfect scene that showcased just how deadly these fighters could be came when Jax had to risk his own life to fight off Sub-Zero, and it didn't go well for Jax. Don't get us wrong, Jax showed that he's a powerful fighter, but against someone who can rain down icicles and freeze just about anything he wants, yeah, it wasn't enough. Sub-Zero freezing Jax's arms and then ripping them off to cripple him was shocking to behold, and yet once again set a tone for the film that it wasn't going to hide what these fighters could do. Number 8. Cole gets his power unlocked. Cole Young as a character was honestly someone you loved or hated depending on how you watched the movie. He wasn't a bad character per se, but the movie honestly didn't develop him over time outside of making it clear he was a family man, and that was about it. What's more, despite his MMA experience, he was soundly defeated by many of the other fighters, including Kano, who's not exactly a guy who does skilled fighting, you know? But it all came to a head when he fought against Goro. The legendary champion of Mortal Kombat had an easy time with Cole at the start, but when Cole's family was threatened, he unlocked his inner power and gave himself not just a wicked pair of bladed tonfa, but gave himself golden armor that would allow him to go up against someone like the Shogun without much issue at all. Him dealing the death blow to Goro was shocking given his lack of Mortal Kombat experience, but it proved he deserved to be there. Number 7. The Reptile Fight. One of the more difficult elements of going and adapting a video game franchise like Mortal Kombat is that not all the characters are human, nor do they move in human-like ways. And so it's up to the team to determine how to go and deal with that and make it seem believable. Such was the case in one of the earlier fights where the villainous Shang Tsung sent an assassin in the form of Reptile to go and kill Cole, Sonya, and Kano. The fight that occurred was nothing short of fun from top to bottom, with Reptile using its cloaking to hide from the fighters, to Sonya accidentally going and throwing a knife into Kano's leg, and of course Kano ripping out Reptile's heart and stating so beautifully, "Kano wins." Yes, you did, Kano. Yes, you did. Number 6. Kano vs. Sonya. If we're being honest here, Sonya Blade honestly got the shaft in the movie. She was treated like dirt because she didn't have the mark, despite the fact she was doing all she could to save the Earth. Thankfully, she did get her due in her fight against Kano. In the games, Kano was responsible for her father's death, and while that clearly didn't happen here, she had all the reasons in the world to kill him due to his betrayal. So when she not only got to fight him, but kill him with a lawn gnome and then get his mark to prove she was worthy, yeah, that was pretty epic.
Feels fucking amazing, mate.
Number 5. The Fatalities. There were two main selling points in the Mortal Kombat movie as a whole. The first one was that of the fights being insanely beautiful in terms of their styles and techniques that would be used, and they mostly lived up to that. But the other major thing that they promised were the fatalities. You can't have Mortal Kombat without a slew of fatalities and incredible deaths. And oh yeah, they had those in bulk. From Kano ripping out Reptile's heart, to Jax smashing the head of Raiko with his metal arms, to Sonya shooting holes in Milena's chest, and so on. But the best ones were done by Liu Kang and Kung Lao. Kang summoning his fire dragon was awesome to behold as it roasted Cabal for Kung Lao. And then Kung Lao pulled off the flawless victory against Nitara by chopping her in half with his hat. Because of course he did. Now that they've proven they know how to do the fatalities, one can only imagine the fatalities that'll come in the sequel. Number 4. The Johnny Cage tease. As you're about to see in these next two entries, not everything has to be about the fights. Sometimes it's the personalities of the characters and the teases for the world of Mortal Kombat that make the film shine. And this was personified with the ending of the movie. With Earthrealm safe until the tournament, which will be in the sequel if it's greenlit, Raiden ordered the remaining fighters to seek out replacements to shore up their ranks. Who was their first target? A guy in Hollywood by the name of Johnny Cage. Oh yeah, he's coming, and he will fight for your rights. A lot of people were questioning why Cage wasn't in this film, and now we know why. He's coming in the sequel, and depending on who they cast, they'll make the film even better. Potentially. We hope. Let's just move on.
Hollywood? What the hell's in Hollywood?
Number 3. Now give me an effing egg roll. Whether you loved or hated the film, the one thing that most fans could agree on was that Josh Lawson's Kano was absolutely the MVP of the film. He just was. Lawson played him equal parts scumbag and epic comedian, and no scene proved that better than the egg roll scene. Because he was being his usual Kano self and barking orders and insulting everyone, but this time, Kung Lao and Liu Kang put him in his place, calling him out and saying that he was weak. Naturally, Kano didn't take that too well and went on a rant about how he was the Black Dragon, and that all of them should fear him, and so on and so on. And then when he said the line about getting him an effing egg roll, his own inner power unleashed and he got himself his signature eye laser. Sometimes it's the comedy scenes that are the best, and this proved it.
I knew I'd get mine first.
Number 2. Scorpion vs. Sub-Zero with Cole. If you watched the promotional material for Mortal Kombat, you'll know that the main fight they kept teasing was a fully powered Scorpion versus Sub-Zero. And while their first matchup, which we'll get to, was more of a showcase of martial arts, their final battle alongside Hanzo's descendant in Cole was all about the powers and epic catchphrases, "Get over here!" You'd think that the two fighters like Scorpion and Cole would be enough to handle Sub-Zero, but he showed more than once that he was more than capable of going toe-to-toe with both of them and holding his own. But the truth treats were at the end when Scorpion got to unleash the fires of the Netherrealm and burn Sub-Zero alive. True, the scene was a bit of a bummer as Scorpion apparently went away and might not come back again, but being as he can return with Cole's help, you never know. But if that is his final curtain, at least he went out looking like a boss. Number 1. Hanzo vs. Bi-Han. Come on, is there really any other fight that can be here? This was a fight and set of scenes so important and epic that they literally started the movie with it. Throughout the history of Mortal Kombat, in terms of the games and comics and other material, Sub-Zero and Scorpion are mortal enemies, not including the 1995 movie for some reason. Sub-Zero, Bi-Han, was either the killer of Scorpion's family, Hanzo Hasashi, or he was framed for their death. The 2021 movie made it clear that it was Bi-Han who killed Hanzo's family and clan, and with that came a sequence of brutal fights that absolutely helped set the tone for the movie. Not the least of which is that while certain powers were used, it wasn't the crux of the fight, unlike the frozen cage match that we got in the climax. This was about two men who straight up hated each other and were willing to do whatever it took to win. Bi-Han took round 1, but Hanzo won when he was resurrected. Doesn't that mean that a third match is owed? Perhaps with a certain someone's younger brother? So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the Mortal Kombat movie and the scenes from the movie that really shine? Do you agree that these were some of the best moments of the film? What did you think of the movie overall? And what do you think is going to happen in the sequel if it is to arrive? Let us know in the comments below, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.